I don't know what else to say other than that was the most Calgary Flames game that I have ever seen.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. Today, we're going to be unpacking and reliving last night's season opener against the Vancouver Canucks because I feel like that was truly a very Calgary Flames hockey experience. Like when they say experience Calgary Flames hockey, they're talking about last night's game. And we got to talk about it because everything that happened says a lot about this team. Make sure you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your Calgary Flames every day. And let's just start it off at the highest point of the game. Connor Zary. Connor Zary had an overtime winner. Him and Martin Pospisil are just such a great duo. I really appreciate them. Just as a whole, coming back from that first period to that moment is huge. The fact that they even forced an overtime is impressive in itself, and getting it together and like pulling that leash back in after that Kevin Rooney hit was, that was a very crucial part of this game. And I based on the reports last night, it did sound like Kevin Rooney is okay. He's up and walking. He's up and moving. I truly thought that he was going to have to be stretchered out of the game because he was not moving. He did not look good. But, his teammates helped him off the ice, and it was just scary. And I understand that, like, just because it's a clean hit, like, that doesn't excuse it, I guess. Like, it doesn't make it any less, worse than a dirty hit. Like, a hit is a hit regardless. And it doesn't help that, Rooney was already, like, off balance. And it just is so unfortunate. Wishing all the best for him, obviously. I hope that we're able to see him play on Saturday. It would be nice to see him back, but I don't know the severity of everything that is going on. But I do think that one of the things that really bothered me was Canucks fans chanting JT Miller while Kevin Rooney is down on the ice motionless. I think that is so classless and just can you read the room just a little bit? Like, I understand if it's like a big hit that shifts. I mean, this was a big hit that shifted the game, but one where a player isn't injured, that's appropriate. Doing it then beyond inappropriate. But losing Rooney it rattled everyone. Like, that is such a scary scenario to watch, and wishing nothing but the best for him. And I hope that, he's able to have a smooth recovery. And, Anthony Mantha took that personally. And the Flames haven't had a player that responds like that for a long time. I feel like even when Lucic was on the team, he didn't respond. He didn't, retaliate, get retribution. Tkachuk was just a pest, and there's a difference. And the response that Mantha got, I mean, hey, do your thing. He earned himself a Gordie Howe hat trick, which is pretty impressive there. But the penalties after that were just so unnecessary. And I understand, like I said, like everyone's rattled, everyone is trying to do something, but it was just very I and I hate complaining about the refs because it feels like such a cop out, but there were absolutely moments that were like missed calls. Um Adam Klapka got cross-checked uh in front of the net and like went tumbling over and there was nothing. And I wish I could remember who it was. Uh like I just don't understand how you do that. And then the mask coming off on that goal makes no sense to me why you would not call that back. If we are going to stop play when a player loses their helmet, when a skater loses their helmet, why are we allowing a goalie to play without a helmet? And they're like, well, if there's like a scoring opportunity, we aren't going to stop it. Why wouldn't you? Do you want the player to get bonked on the head by a puck? Like, I don't know. It did not make sense to me. And then there was the equipment malfunction. I guess technically, like, he dropped his own glove, but like, that first period was a lot. And I was very scared for the rest of the game. It was great to see Huberdeau score. It was great to see Rasmus Andersson score. I talked about that in yesterday's episode about how I want to see Rasmus Andersson shoot the puck. I want to see him shoot the puck more because last season, it was not there. He was not there. That confidence was just gone. Seeing Huberdeau start off on such a high note is huge too. And this is absolutely a game the Flames can build off of and kind of fall back to. And I understand it's only the first game of the season. This is not like, I mean, it did feel like a playoff game at some points. And it stunk. Like it stunk. There were very difficult things happening during that game where I was like, please don't ever. Like they looked so good coming out of the gate, and then the hit on Rooney happened and it just like crumbled. But coming up next, we are going to talk about how they bounced back from this and just kind of where they can go, because I feel like this is just the epitome of Flames hockey. And we will be right back after this. Well, we are going to take a quick break here, and I'm going to talk to you all about FanDuel. Hello, NFL fans. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. I hope all of you placed the over last night. I said take the Canucks. Don't I hope no one listened to that, but there's always so much 4-game parlay or the 4-leg parlay with I wish I had bet on that. That was last night would have been a great game for that, but you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That is FanDuel.com. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. The meltdown that we witnessed last night was not a good one by any means. But again, first game of the season, right? No one is going to come out looking like a truly cohesive unit, unless like you are pretty much bringing the same roster from last year. And we know that there's been a lot of turnover in the Flames roster, and this group hasn't played a game together. So to watch them come out, they looked good coming out. They looked great. But the killer was the penalties. The penalty kill is not good enough for y'all to be acting like that. And I understand, heat of the moment, it was a lot, but you still have to play a disciplined game. Doesn't need to be, uptight, perfect, but, like, you can't be taking, like, roughing penalties unless they're, like, matching roughing penalties. I think that that really hurt them last night, and they eventually got it together, but every time that whistle blew, um, it felt more like okay, here's another goal rather than, okay, like the Flames are gonna kill it off. But I mean, they did score shorthanded, so I will give them that. But it just came undone so fast. And I was saying it to someone last night. It's like once like they came out good. The Rooney hit happened and it was like a flip switched. Yeah, flip switched. And it's like they forgot how to play hockey. And it was more about the physicality and, getting retribution. And honestly, good on Anthony Mantha. Because I don't think that the Flames are used to that. And that, like, it does have its, pros and cons or whatever, but in a game like that, in a moment like that, you really do need someone to kind of do it. But just the unnecessary, like, Martin Pospisil penalties. We don't need to be tripping, slashing. Just play a good game. And, first game, first day back, jitters. I understand. But it's just not going to end well if that's how they play the whole season. And I think that was noticeable. And they corrected themselves, after, like, halfway through the second period. I think that, they came out still all riled up. And then, they settled in eventually. So that's good. Good for them. I guess, that first period was so incredibly lopsided too. The shots, like the Canucks had like 13 shots and the Flames had like 1 or 2. It felt like the Flames just could not do anything. And the only thing they could do was watch the Canucks score goals, because other than that, they really weren't doing much, it felt like. And for them to, kind of come back out, and was it Rasmus Anderson who scored the next goal? I believe it was. He cuts the deficit in half. And then Uyghur, and then Huberdeau, and like Mantha, and then Connor Zary wraps it up, and it's just kind of like, okay, they did not take their foot off the gas pedal, and their efforts paid off. You have to play a hard 60 minutes. Otherwise, it's just going to go to overtime, or you're just going to lose in regulation. And I hope that last night's game is something that they will look back on and remember how horribly that first period went and why they can't let that happen again. I understand first game, but they also just need to get it together. Like, these are grown adults. And the goal is to win. So why can you go out there and play like you want to win? I would say that I liked the effort that I saw after the first period. I thought that it looked good, but you can't just use the first period as like a warm-up. That's what your warm-ups are for. I think, you have to go out there firing on all cylinders. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good game for you. And this team wants to win. So play like it. I think Anthony Mantha is going to be more impactful than people expected. I think, he had that good, obviously one good game. So obviously everyone's like, "Ooh, Anthony Mantha, great stuff." I really liked what we saw from him. I think that he's still an effective player. I like that. One of my biggest gripes was honestly Kevin Ball just standing there in front of the net watching a puck go in when he could have easily stuck his stick out or done something to defend. Just ridiculous. But again, first day, first game jitters. Everyone has to work through them one way or another. And Sam Honzek, honestly, good for him. I can't believe I have not mentioned him at all. NHL debut. So he seems like such a good kid and someone that's just, very grateful to be there. And I hope we see more of him. I thought that he looked good. I thought that, he's kind of been asked to step into this big role of a first line winger, his first day on the job. And that's not necessarily easy. I'm very much looking forward to what he blossoms into and what the Flames can get out of him and what he can contribute, because he has the potential to be, a very good winger. And the Flames need that, believe it or not. They need to get younger and faster, and they're definitely doing that. And I'm very grateful to watch that transition finally happen, because I feel like we were in a very big loop of, let's just sign a bunch of old fourth liners and let them take the spots and then trade away our prospects. That is personally how it felt. But coming up next, we're going to wrap up the show with some more takeaways, as well as what we've got going on this next game here at home. And we will be right back after this. If you're like me, you love going to live events and they're a big part of your life. And Gametime makes going to those events so much easier. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out all the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I like that. I like having everything done for me, and then I just have to pick what I like the best, and Gametime Picks makes that possible. I used Gametime to see the Flames last year, and my favorite feature was, of course, the all-in pricing. All I had to do was toggle that option, and I was not surprised by any fees at checkouts, and they had the panoramic view from my seat, so I knew where I was going to be sitting and what I was going to be seeing at UBS Arena. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. I'm leaving for Calgary in a few hours. That's very exciting. I can't wait. Just very much looking forward to it, especially after the game last night. I was like, after that first period, I was like, if they play like this on Saturday and I spent my hard-earned money to fly out across the continent to watch them and they're going to play like that and embarrass me, is it too late to cancel the trip? Just kidding. But no, I think it'll be a fun game against the Flyers. I fully expect the home opener to be emotional. I'm pretty sure, obviously there's going to be the Gaudreau tribute at the beginning of the game in the 13 seconds of silence. I just wish they were doing something a little more. Maybe they are, and they just haven't announced it yet. I know that Johnny did not play for the Flames and has not played for the Flames in a couple of years. However, he was a pivotal part and a crucial part of this organization and the success. And I want to see them do something, you know, just especially with having fans in the building. I think, the memorial was incredible and the vigil was great, but I'm really interested to see if they do something for the home opener. But speaking of Gaudreau, there's another Gaudreau that's been hanging out with the Flyers, and that's Guy Gaudreau. Papa Gaudreau has been practicing with the Flyers. He's been coaching some practices alongside the Flyers, and that's been pretty fun to watch. And I'm curious to see if that turns into something. Even if it's just not. I don't know what kind of official NHL jobs you can get, but I would love to see him do more work with the Flyers. But they'll be coming to town on Saturday, and that's very exciting. The Flyers are a team that they have a lot in common with the Flames. More than I realized. They both have a good mixture of young players, making their way through the NHL and the prospect system and into the NHL, and they have a good group of veterans. I think that the Flyers are they're shaping up to be a good team. It shows that they have taken their lumps. They have taken their lumps to the fullest extent and are getting there. They have decent amount of players that are good. I don't know. I don't know if there's anyone on the Flyers that's considered elite. I don't know. I think that it's a very good, talented group. I think that Travis Konechny is. He was one of the players that I was hoping the Flames would get a few years ago. Did not happen, obviously. I think that their goaltending situation is very interesting as well. It's not as up in the air as I would say the Flames was earlier this preseason, but I think it's going to be a good game. I think that these teams are pretty evenly matched. I would love to see the Flames play defense. I think that that's going to be a crucial part in Saturday night's game, as well as every game moving forward. I was not impressed with what I saw last night. I think at some points, Braden Pahal was the best defenseman out there, which that's not a good look. For the guys like Weegar and Anderson. And I don't necessarily think Anderson or Weegar was doing anything wrong. I just feel like Anderson was doing that lost puppy thing again that he did last season. And we got to just bring him back to the game. I'm really looking forward to this because, John Tortorella and his love for the Calgary Flames is so funny to me. I watched that video of him trying to storm the Flames locker room probably once a week, and it always cracks me up. Hopefully nothing like that happens. I would just like to enjoy a not so physical game and actual hockey being played. And I think that Sam Honzek is going to score the first goal for the Flames on Saturday. I'm hopeful. I'm I believe in this team in the sense of they can play good hockey. I don't think that it's going to be San Jose Sharks hockey, where it's just a bunch of guys skating around for 3 periods. I think that, there's enough talent on this team to get them through this season and like for them to shape up to be a fine hockey team. However, success for them would be a draft lottery spot. Hopefully around the same spot or higher than they picked last year. And one game does not determine the season this early on. So, there's still 81 games to be played and a long season ahead of us. So I'll be here all season long. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. And I will have an episode up for Friday as well. I hope everyone has a good day and remembers to share this podcast with a friend. And I will see you all tomorrow.